Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we're looking at X-Men issue 23, and on the front of this trading card variant cover we have Horde Culture, and then on the back we have everything about them and how they turn up, etc. back in 2019, and I'm hoping that they still got a big role to play in this universe. So the story begins with Dr. Status having dinner with his dead clones, very, very disappointed, but he does like doing that after a day of genocide. However, he is interrupted by, that's right, Mother Righteous, who is actually Rebecca Essex, but she hasn't been known as that for a long time. So I'm not sure if that identity has been revealed before. She also makes it very clear to Dr. Orchis that he is not the original, that the original Nathaniel sent everybody out to every corner of the world because he wanted to win, didn't want to lose, and that was a way to win, etc. Being in every sort of corner, etc. So she wants to be on the winning team, in particularly a controlling part of Orchis. So there's no vacancies, by the way. So Sinister sort of stops her from going for the wine glass, etc. And then they sort of start getting a little bit threatening, etc. So she reminds him that she is not his wife and she will not be, susceptible to whatever controlling behaviors he does, etc. So he suggests that they'd be stronger together, etc., in establishing what they're trying to establish. So, but she makes it clear, no more wives, no more sons, no more clones. You do not think about me in that manner. And he hates Sweet alone, apparently. There we go. So that's the beginning. Suited to win when cometh the Stark Sentinels. So this is written by Gerry Duggan. Joshua Cassara is on the artwork. D. Calif, I think I pronounced that wrong, apologies, is color artist. Clay and Cows is on the lettering. Tom Miller and Jay Bowen are on design. There we go. Alright, sorry, I skipped a page and showed you the big thing. Anyway, it's not, if you're on the internet, you probably know what's sort of happening anyway. So there's a great big fire, they have no way out, and a Sentinel comes to rescue. But not just any Sentinel, it is an Iron Man Sentinel, rebranded. Rebranded by who, you say? Well, it's rebranded by Feilong, who has successfully done a hostile takeover of Stark Unlimited. So, and Orchis obviously made wasted no time in sort of getting an Iron Man Sentinel up and running. However, even though it saved a day, it's after the same day, it takes a mutant and decides to try and kill him. But the X-Men have arrived. Now, the first thing I thought here, what on earth is Cyclops in that uniform? Goodness. It's, maybe he feels like, hey, I've got all these uniforms. Maybe he's got a wardrobe full of all these uniforms. He's like, today I feel like going out as 90s Cyclops. Who knows? But I just thought it was a bit bizarre that he's in that and not his current X uniform. But I think he has dabbled before, etc. So the X-Men attack, but they are not having any headway at all. So Iceman goes off to stop the fire. Forge comes in and tries to stop him using codes. However, it does not work. The Iron Man Sentinel reroutes its code and his blast. Then it's basically attack off Cyclops, but he's already called Cinch, Talon, Ileana, and his wife. And his wife has a little dig. Nobody gets to, stomp on Cyclops apart from me. And this goes back to these hints that their marriage is in some sort of trouble. I'll get more into that as the issue goes on. So Cinch goes to use Polaris's magnetic powers, which is what Cyclops wanted. However, he is mortally wounded. However, he can heal himself because he can cinch off Talon, but you can see the real concern there because obviously they're in a relationship there and the relationship is going well. So as they try to fight, there is only one option, and that is Liliana to send the Sentinel into a portal and spread across different dimensions, etc., as it dies. And she is clearly quite angry at this point in time. And then Jean finishes it off so that no information can be sent back to Orchis. So, and then Cyclops asks the question. So it's like the Wolverine skeleton a couple of issues ago where he says, how many are out there? Well, there's lots out there. So there's lots of Iron Man Sentinels now, retooled and ready to go. They've got a real enemy on their books, etc. So, feeling is a bit disappointed that Dr. Status has used one of his Sentinels, but the whole plot was that a Sentinel came to rescue the firefighters and the X-Men attacked it. That's their whole play with this. But also, they wanted to capture Marvel Jean Grey as well. So, and this is where Nimrod says, leave the Omegas to me. I will deal with them. He calls them pesky as well, which is ironic. Now, we get this, once again, we get a little moment between the White Queen and Kingpin. He's allowed to stay on the island, part of his marriage to Typhoid Mary. So he's given immunity. However, he has to behave. The moment he breaks that it's over with. But he intends to be a good citizen. So, interesting times. And he says, I'll see you both at the gala. And then Cyclops was like, please tell me that's Mystique. She's like, no. So, right, so we get into this bit. So, in the background, and I'm not sure if it's been written somewhere else. I'd be a bit disappointed if it is being written somewhere else. Jean Grey and Cyclops are having marriage trouble over their disagreement with the Brood. So, on one hand, you've got Jean Grey, who once upon a time committed genocide when the Phoenix took over her personnel. It wasn't Jean Grey, it was her personnel, but she has all those memories and perhaps feels all those guilt. So she wanted to try and rehabilitate the Brood by having Brood control them, and that's what he's doing. He's controlling them. You know, they're not free-willed, they're not doing these things by themselves. He is controlling them. Cyclops' worry is that something's gonna happen again, like last time. Nightmare is going to come in, or somebody else, and they are going to be released on the universe and commit horrible atrocities. And the other thing you need to remember, his father was almost killed by them, and he saw a whole host of people turned into them, which they had to release into space. So he has a valid argument as well, where she wants to try and redeem. He wants to say, no, they need to be eradicated because they are dangerous to society, and he'll be interested to see who is right. Is it going to be Jean Grey Cyclops right this time, or is it Cyclops is right this time? So meanwhile, he approaches his ex, Emma Frost, and says, we're taking some break. I'm sure you've heard. And she's like, no. And, it's quite prerogative the way that you've come over it. In other words, is he trying to hook up with Emma Frost? Are we actually bothered these days? Jean Grey probably hooks up with Wolverine, or at least it was hinted at. So I thought this weird relationship, all right, let me be clear. In real life, if people want to do this stuff, that's entirely up to them. If they want to date lots of different people, that's cool. But I'm a married one man, one woman guy, etc. So I think a bit differently. I find it, in my mind, I find it a bit strange. I also find it, how on earth do you keep up with all this stuff? So I thought they were in this sort of foursome relationship anyway, where Cyclops can hook up with Emma, Jean Grey can hook up with Wolverine, they're both happily married, etc. But clearly, perhaps that is not the case, and this feels like a real split. She's also got some bad news to her, which is, I think it's karma, isn't it? Miss Marvel has been killed in New York, and they used to be friends when he was young Cyclops and he was in the Champions. they used to be close friends, etc. I'm not sure if there was a relationship there. I've never read it, so I don't know. But they used to be friends once upon a time, and it's sad. It's very sad. And then she says, "There's not enough love in the world," and it ends like that. So the Jean Grey Cyclops breakup, like I said, I'm not sure if it's being written somewhere else. I feel like I would have liked a bit more from that, because the last two issues, it's just been hinted in the background. You're not seeing anything. Maybe that's what makes Gerry a good writer, because he's just, this is happening in the background. You don't need to see it all. It's, it takes up too many pages. So I'll hint at it here, I'll hint at it there, and you've got the gist that something big is going on in their marriage, etc. So I like the issue. I'm not sure exactly like Cyclops going. I mean, I'm not entirely sure that that was his intention. Him going straight to Emma Frost for some loving, because I don't think he thinks that way. Um, it's, but it, I guess for somebody who's not, doesn't understand that Emma Frost Cyclops relationship, just so I'm clear, I love that relationship. Um, Perhaps if you've only been reading the last sort of 5 to 10 years, maybe you wouldn't understand that relationship. They were in love, they were through thick and thin during those days that they were together, just as much as Jean Grey and Cyclops have been. So that relationship has some real tangible. But we've also got the announcement that Emma Frost is getting married to Tony Stark. Now, the only reason I can see that happening now, it must be some sort of unification, to make both stronger, because Stark's just lost his business. Feilong is a pain in the X-Men side. It all makes sense. Anyway, hope you like my video. If you do, please support my channel by subscribing. I really appreciate that. Make sure you look after yourself. Very important these days. Thank you for watching as well. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to my channel. Really appreciate you folks a lot. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.